Hi everyone, Comic Book Reviewer here. This time reviewing on Paranormal Entity 2, Gacy's House. Now, as you know, Paranormal Entity 2, Gacy's House, is meant to be a 2010 horror film, which was pretty much another mockbuster of Paranormal Activity 2. And if you remember some time ago, I did review Paranormal Entity 2. And I think, well, Paranormal Activity got ridiculous as it progressed. I think Paranormal Entity 2 is slightly better and actually enjoyable. So, the premise of the film is meant to follow a group of paranormal investigators, which are led by Dr. Robert James Franklin, to kind of inspect the rebuilt house of John Gacy, who was a real-life serial killer and pretty much did terrible things. So we see how Dr. Robert and his team, which are Michael, Gary, the younger one, Tessa, a bit more of the sort of paranormal investigator sort, and Lena, who's kind of the eye candy, and some of the other team members, try to invest Gacy's house of paranormal activity. I think what the film gets right is not following after Paranormal Entity, and I think what the Paranormal Activity films try to do was build up a bigger story that crashed and burned as it progressed. I give it credit, it's changing the status quo and kind of doing something different. And we see how at first they're kind of doing it more in baby steps, but over time, we do kind of see how the spirit of John Gacy torments them, going to all lengths to make their lives a living hell. And I think what makes it work is it really knows how to go into dark territories, like exploring the underground basement and sort of hearing laughter, cries, and things getting worse. I think it distanced itself quite well. And I think what makes it work is when one of the members actually uses a special camera, you actually see the spirit of John Gacy taking the matter as a personal matter of war. And I give it credit that it goes more into John Gacy and showing you and what they were doing, like using the Ouija board when his last words were, "Eat my ass." And also what I give it credit for is that it doesn't really go over silly like a Paranormal Activity film. I think Paranormal Entity 2 is slightly better because, yeah, it's meant to follow a group of paranormal investigators going into the abandoned home of a dangerous serial killer instead of some sort of demon. And I think it works because, again, it's changing itself from the status quo, and I think Paranormal Activity tried to do this when they did their latest one which kind of had a feel similar to Resident Evil 8. I think Paranormal Entity 2 is the superior version of the later ones because it knows it's not going to focus on the whole Demon Toby thing. It's not going to kind of focus on the characters from the last film, but instead with a new set. And I think this was also what I think, as well, Halloween 3 was trying to do with its fans, showing them that Michael Myers' story is finished, and there was no need to continue the story. So I think my personal thoughts is Paranormal Entity 2 is a slightly better version of the of the film it was mockbusting, and it's a pretty much a shocker that a mockbuster can be a better version of the other films. So I think this one definitely deserves a thumbs up. It's slightly better, definitely enjoyable, and it knows when it's changing the status quo. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.